Chris Sanders and Dreamworks, you have earned yourself one of Roz's stickers for doing such a terrific job with the Wild Robot.
Long as the sky and oceans are blue, I'll always love you and I'll never stop. I'll always be there, even when I'm not.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate my movie, The Wild Robot?
A fucking perfect 10. The Wild Robots, written and directed by animation legend Chris Sanders, the co-director of animation royalty, which has Lilo and Stitch and the first How to Train Your Dragon, and this is his glorious return to animation after his misfire that was Call of the Wild 4 years ago, and is the 47th DreamWorks movie overall. So, The Wild Robot tells the story taking place in the future where a robot, Roz, voiced by Lupita Nyong'o, no, not Roz from Monsters Inc., but she has the exact same name, and she is from Universal Direct, and is one of the 6 surviving robots to crash in a forest island where she accidentally crushes goose parents and their nest, leaving only one egg survivor, and she raises him as her own son and names him Brightbeak with the help of Thing, a fox voiced by Pedro Pascal, though it does take so long for the other inhabitants of the island to trust her. And Roz is the first of her kind to develop emotions and a love for the wild and to go against her programming. The Wild Robot has gained the highest Rotten Tomatoes rating of 98% for a DreamWorks motion picture since the first How to Train Your Dragon. I was speechless by all the universal acclaim this movie was receiving back when it released in the US in September, and yeah, I was annoyed that I had to wait an extra month to check his house, and but the Wild Robot looked like the savior of DreamWorks for this year, as Kung Fu Panda 4 huge letdown, and Megamind versus the Duma Sinika can kiss my ass, but the Wild Robot is uh, it wipes the floor with both of them. It believe the hype. The Wild Robot is even slightly better than Inside Out 2 as the animated classic of 2024. I initially thought the critics were exaggerating when they called it better than Inside Out 2, but after seeing it for myself, no, I'm with them. And for a DreamWorks movie to get more acclaim than a Pixar movie, that's unheard of. So rarely happens, but this is nearly at the same quality as the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy. This is truly god tier DreamWorks, and it's my favorite DreamWorks movie of the 2020s, no competition, and it's does not feel like a modern animated blockbuster at all, which is why it's being so loved. I mean, it barely has any human characters. There are no pop culture references, and it's got a mature, more somber tone. No constant forced comedy, and this is not one of those cash grabs like Despicable Me 4. No, and I pray people see this movie, because I'm so worried it's going to underperform just because it's an original film. Well, it's technically based on a book, but it still counts as original. But DreamWorks returns a form of an original movie, so fair play to them. They've outdone themselves. This and Joker Folia do October 2024, maybe my favorite October for movies since October 2019, back when we got the first Joker and another DreamWorks gem, Abominable. And 5 years later, history repeats itself. The Wild Robot is one of DreamWorks' most emotional movies. It's got a huge heart throughout, and Roz is one of the uh, greatest DreamWorks protagonists, period. And Lupita Nyong'o, she is just brilliant as Roz, and I mean, able to voice a robot and constantly say the same lines more than once, like a robot was. Like, she rose to the occasion, and as did the other voice actors like Mark Hamill and Pedro Pascal and Bill Nye. Roz is the Baymax of DreamWorks, as you never thought you would get this emotionally invested in a robot, but she, like the androids in Detroit Become Human, finds a brand new purpose and existence for herself beyond what she was built and programmed to do, and she falls in love with the forest and with Brightbeak and with Thing, and she makes her task to help the animals when they initially, well, uh, don't trust her one bit and see her as a monster just because they've never met a robot, and the movie doesn't sugarcoat how harsh and brutal nature can be, and how territorial animals are in real life. but uh, but Thing the fox, and he is my other favorite character in the movie. Is yeah, he uh, uh, very quickly becomes her best friend when he gives that inspiring speech to all the animals of the forest when Roz saves their lives from winter, about how they've done nothing but well uh, be a dick to her, and yet she saved them and brought them together. And though Roz did accidentally, well, crush Brightbeak's real family while escaping from a bear, it was not her fault, and she does make things right by raising Brightbeak and giving him a future. So Brightbeak realizes that well, that's it wasn't Roz's fault what happened to his real family, and it's uh, it's extremely moving when he calls her his mum, and the other woodland animals that are all delightful lots from Mark Hamill as the grizzly bear. He has so little lines in the movie that I can't imagine he was recording his lines for more than one day, but still, he uh, does learn to soften up, being the most feared animal in the forest, and even the beaver, who is uh, who's the most grumpy member of the forest, but does earn respect by the end when he helps put out the forest fire, and even the moose and the deers and the raccoons and the lynx, and oh, and Catherine O'Hara's the mother possum. She's one of the other top characters in the movie. She's the one that explains to Roswell the ins and outs of motherhood, being a mother herself. She's a so much better possum character in a DreamWorks movie than Ozzy and his daughter in Over the Hedge. Oh, we don't talk about that. But the themes and messages of parenthood and community and family in this movie, and what it means to love, I mean, are so beautifully done. How could anybody not go at this movie? Yeah, I said dozens of times, and the uh, visuals of the wild robot are so dope. I mean, while they don't outdo the visuals of the House of Train Your Dragon trilogy, and the hidden world scene in House of Train Your Dragon 3 still remains DreamWorks' most visually stunning set piece, although the island here is one of DreamWorks' most gorgeous and and most magical locations that make me feel like I was watching an animated David Attenborough documentary. If this entire movie had been dialogueless with David Attenborough's narration, I wouldn't have complained. I was pretty immersed in just the natural beauty of it, and they do show uh, parts of Universal Direct where Roz originated, but not very much. Thankfully, the majority of the movie is in nature. Even the robot antagonists in the climax, they're not in the movie much, but they don't need to be uh, the because the threat of this movie, for the most part, is surviving the challenges of the forest, and and when with a title like Universal Direct, you can see that Universal Studios, who also distributed this movie with DreamWorks, just wanted to put their name in this movie somehow. The scenes where Roz nearly dies and nearly shuts down because of how battered she gets. She's throughout this movie, she's got bare claw marks on her chest and broken body parts everywhere. She goes through life and limb to protect Brightbeak, and this is the one animated movie I have seen this year that has the balls to kill off characters and where not everybody is safe. Like the leader of the geese flock, voiced by Bill Nye, his goose meets a tragic fate towards the third act, and the ending is a DreamWorks bittersweet goodbye scene, which DreamWorks always seem to excel at. Heart-wrenching goodbyes in their movies. Spirits and his human friend are passing ways in Spirit standing at the Cimarron, and the dragons and the Burkians passing in House of Train Your Dragon 3 The Hidden World. So yeah, while I still think Inside Out 2 does have a shot of taking home Best Animated Feature, it would not surprise me at all if The Wild Robot is this year's Best Animated Feature winner. While it's certainly not gonna make $1.6 billion like Inside Out 2 did, it's still gonna be just as loved, because yeah, this is the last wish of 2024 and a real wild masterpiece.
I give The Wild Robot 5 stars out of 5. Best movie ever.
So yeah, DreamWorks. I don't see Dog Man being on the Wild Robots level in 2025 in any way, shape, or form. But I do have high hopes for Bad Guys too. Yeah, I mean, I just please keep bringing us more like Wild Robots, because this goes to show that you are capable of being as extraordinary as Disney and Pixar. Well, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. And what are your thoughts on the Wild Robots? I'm sure I'm gonna hear you all shower Wild Robot with praise in the comment section. Please comment and let me know. Please like this video and subscribe. Please follow on Twitter and on Instagram. And I'll see you all next time. And remember, movies are us. Bye, guys.